The warfare that you are experiencing is bigger than you. It's bigger than what you can even understand. It is a generational spirit that has been assigned to your family, to your bloodline, and it is seeking out to destroy every person in your family. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, I want to share a dream with you all that I did receive on July 31st. This dream was a dream that was personal, but it also can relate to you all as well. So the dream started out where I was in my grandparents' home. Now, to those of you who may not be aware, I was raised by my grandparents from the age of 9 all the way to 15. So in the dream, it showed me in a room that I used to stay in, and I was sitting on the bed. Now, I knew it was nighttime because I could see outside the window and it was nighttime outside. And where the bed was that I was sitting on, there was a small distance between the bed and the window that I was looking out of. And while I was looking out the window, I just happened to glance down at the floor, and I saw a long piece of shedded skin that I knew it was snake skin that had shedded. I immediately just started freaking out. And I knew that if I saw this snake skin that was on the floor, more than likely there was a snake under this bed. And so because I was afraid of stepping anywhere on this floor, I stood up on the bed and I jumped as far as I could towards the door so I could be away from the bed. And I jumped as far as I could towards the door, and I immediately just kind of ran out towards the entrance of this bedroom door. Once I got to the bedroom door, I kind of looked down underneath the bed, and you guys, it just gives me the creeps every time I think about this. When I tell you that snake was huge, not only was it long, it was extremely fat. Like, I've never seen a snake this fat before. Now, I'm not a snake person, but I mean, I'm sure that there are snakes that probably are this thick, but it was a very thick, long snake. And this snake, the color of it was kind of like a brown, kind of like a light tannish color, but there were spots on the snake that looked like a earthy type of dark brown color. And it was just patches of it on the body of the snake. So anyway, as I'm seeing this, the snake never tried to grab me or attack me. It was just sitting there, just looking at me. So I ran out the room and I saw my dad, and I was panicking. I could barely get the words out. And I finally said, "There's a snake under the bed in my room." So he hurry up, get up. Him and one of my uncles went to the room, and I didn't go in the room with them at this point in time. They came back out, and I could see them kind of talking amongst themselves to see how they were going to get this snake out. So as they were talking, I went back towards the doorway. Now, mind you, the dream is just having me do these things automatically, because in real life, I'm not trying to go nowhere near it. I don't want to see it again, but I knew there was a reason why God was having me see all these things. So like I said, they were talking amongst themselves, trying to figure out how they were going to get the snake out. I went back to the doorway and I looked back under the bed, and this time I saw the mouth of the snake. It was completely stretched wide open, and I could see these white things starting to come out of its mouth. And they were like really tiny, and they had like really small, skinny black legs, but they were white. And for whatever reason in the dream, it said that they were hamsters. Honestly, they didn't look like hamsters, but I don't know why it said that's what it was in the dream. I'm seeing these things like just start crawling on the floor. It looked like it was probably like, maybe like, I want to say 10, but I feel like 10 is too many. I would say maybe between 6 to 8 of these things just came out of his mouth, and they just started crawling around. And I knew that these things needed to be removed as well. So I saw one of my cousins, she picked up one of these things that were, it was made mention that it was a hamster. And she picked it up and she was like, oh, look. And I knew that she wanted to make it a pet. And I was like, just kind of beside myself, like, y'all need to get rid of these things. These are not safe. So after that scene, I saw my dad again and his brother, my uncle. They went back into the room. And when they came back out, I saw that they had tied a white sheet around the mouth of the snake. And then they had a white sheet tied around the tail of the snake. And so they were both carrying it from both ends. And I didn't see where they took it, but I knew they removed it from the house. Now, it was then made known to me, because we started talking after the fact, how did the snake get into the room? I never saw that the window was broken, but in the dream, it was made known to me that the window was broken at one point. And so I knew that my dad had fixed the window. But when before the window was fixed and the window was broken, that was how the snake got in. But nobody knew the snake was inside the house after they pretty much had fixed the window. So after that was made known, I then remember seeing again these things that this snake, you know, kind of vomited out of his mouth or whatever that was. It was gross. But I was seeing them still going around the house, and it was like nobody was really paying it no mind. They were very nonchalant about it. And I knew within myself, this is something that y'all have got to get rid of. Like, this is dangerous. And I knew that right before I woke up out the dream, I knew that I was trying to leave. And that was pretty much what I remember. Now, I know that was a lot, but when I woke up, I do have to add, when I woke up from this dream, it took me an hour to lay back down and go to sleep, because I'm not gonna lie, that dream really just creeped me out. Y'all, I got my phone and I turned the flashlight on my phone and I'm just shining the light down on the floor, because I'm like, that dream just seemed too real, you know? So I was just like really creeped out. Now, I've been sitting on this dream for a little bit, and I've been really meditating on the dream. Now, what I want to say overall, I do believe that this snake represented a spirit, a generational spirit. And this is why I know that this dream, although the Lord was speaking to me as far as what he's been showing me regarding my own family, like my whole family, I know that a lot of families in general, this has the same meaning to as well. So when I saw this snake, you guys, again, this snake was very long and it was very thick. Now, the first point that I want to emphasize is the snake never attacked me, and it never tried to attack me. So I knew that this dream was basically wanting me to understand the root behind why not only did I experience certain things within my family, but also why I've seen a pattern throughout other members of my family, and it speaks to a generational spirit. But that was pretty much why I saw that snake being so thick, like extremely big, because this spirit has been present for such a long time, and it showed how many people within my family it has fed on. So that was one of the main things that the Lord was really emphasizing to me, was the thickness of the snake was representing the amount of people this spirit has fed upon. I do believe the reason why it showed me back at my grandparents' house in this dream, because it's the root to where I pretty much really was going through a lot. Over the years, God has really been just giving me bits and pieces of the puzzle, you know, for me to really understand why I went through certain things. Why did I have to experience certain things? It's like he's been really just giving me pieces of that. The fact that it made it known that the window had been broken, the Lord began to help me understand that that was representing a security, a spiritual security that had been compromised. There was not a covering there. There was not a protection there. There wasn't people in place who spiritually had understanding of how to keep all of these access points closed. Now, I have had dreams over the years where it would show me constantly shutting a door, and then another door will open. I'll run and close that door, then another door will open. So it was like in these dreams, the Lord was helping me see in the spiritual realm what I was doing through my prayers. Because when you're praying and you're trying to cover every single area to prevent the enemy from coming in, it's like you have to be so on guard, because the enemy is going to always try to find some little crack he can slither in. From a generational standpoint, there wasn't solid people in my family that really knew how to pray, that really knew how to close the gaps. And I feel like a lot of families suffer from this very thing. And so a lot of the times, and I say this often, you know, we don't always understand why we go through the things that we go through, but you have to understand that there was a generation before you were even thought of. And there were generations even before that that were living life. And some of them didn't make the right choices. Some of them may have, you know, dived into witchcraft. Some of them may have been sexual predators. Some of them may have just didn't believe in God. Like, we all have people in our families that strayed away in some kind of way. It's almost like God was waiting on you. He knew that you were going to be the one that was going to be able to resist the pressures, or resist the temptations, or not compromise the way other people in your family may have compromised. And so you have to understand that what you are going through, it's not just you alone. There is so much background of history that is riding on your shoulders right now. Because who's to say that you are the only one in your family from 4 generations who ever answered the call? So when you look at, oh my gosh, I'm going through this, I'm going through that, why is this so hard? It seems like every time I take 3 steps forward, it's like the enemy just pulls me back. It's because that same spirit that has gone through each member of your family, that has, you know, been successful in causing some of your family members to compromise, causing some of your family members to not answer the call. He has succeeded in destroying the lives of some of your family members for generations, and it wants to devour you too. And so there's a difference, you guys. There is a difference between being called and being chosen. When you are chosen, you can't explain how it is that you were able to go through this, go through that. You can't explain how this situation didn't break you. You can't explain how this situation over here didn't cause you to just backslide. You can't explain how it is that you can still get up the next day and say, Lord, I love you. Lord, I will serve you. Lord, I will not deny you. You can't explain how it is that these people can sit here and just almost spit in your face, but there is still a compassion in your heart for them. You can't explain it because it's something that was embedded in your DNA. It's like God marked you from the very beginning, before you were even birthed out of your mother's womb. He said, this is my chosen. And it doesn't matter what you go through. It doesn't matter what things you encounter. God is going to always make sure that you have the victory over the enemy. Stop looking at your circumstances like, oh my gosh, I don't know why this keeps happening to me. You got to start understanding that it is that same spirit that has gone through your family and has gone through the bloodline, and it's trying to attack you as well. It's trying to defeat you. But God is not going to let it defeat you, because you are chosen. And when you look through the scriptures, we see that there were certain people that God said, you know what? I have to completely remove you from your family. Why? Because it is the influence. It's that same spirit. It doesn't matter if it falls on the brother, the sister, the grandchild, the great-grandchild. It is that same spirit that will just go through the whole bloodline. But in order for you to allow God to do what he needs to do in you, sometimes God has to just strip you from your family and get you to a place where only he has influence over your life. And please understand, I'm telling you this because not only is it in the word of God, we've seen many instances where this had to happen, but I've seen it in my own personal life. Y'all, there are so many things. When I look back on my life, I could have became easily. But God said no. God said no. And even though I dipped and dabbed in some of these things, God did not allow it to overtake me. He said no. The warfare that you are experiencing is bigger than you. It's bigger than what you can even understand. It is a generational spirit that has been assigned to your family, to your bloodline, and it is seeking out to destroy every person in your family. And God knows who will be successful in being able to break those generational curses. These generational spirits are real, and they have attached themselves for a very long time to our families. So we can't be surprised when we see these patterns, right, taking shape within our family. There's a reason why we're seeing it. It's that same spirit that has been around for generations upon generations. And it is seeking to destroy every person assigned to this bloodline, to your bloodline. In that dream, for my father to tie the mouth and tie the tail, it's like the mouth and the tail were the 2 points of this snake that could cause harm. Those were the 2 places that could attack you. The mouth, it could bite you. It could put its venom in your body and kill you. Or the tail could wrap around you and kill you that way. But each part of the snake was tied in a white cloth and it was removed. But because Satan knew it was about to be removed, it still tried to linger on. It tried to bring on something additional that was a part of itself because it did not want to fully be removed, which is why I knew in the dream it's dangerous to try to have these as pets or to just let it linger around. And that's the thing. When you get rid of Satan, don't be playing around, tampering with different things. So I feel like because that spirit is so determined to destroy, before it was removed, it still wanted to leave something behind. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? These things that was coming out of his mouth came from this snake. Although it looked different, it was still of the very nature of this snake. I really just wanted to share this with you all. So let me know in the comment section below, what did you take from this dream? And let me know if this helped you in some kind of way. I would really like to know. I love you all. God bless you all. Lord willing, I'll see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye.